You are listening to NEUROMINDED, where we discuss perspectives and ideas as we navigate the mysteries of the cosmos. Thank you for tuning in to NEUROMINDED. In today's episode, we will be discussing cryptids and aliens.
I literally, the reason why I'm not prepared is because I don't give a shit about those. No, I care a
just
little.
think they're pretty interesting, dude.
I don't know. I find them kind of interesting, but I don't know. We just watched that movie, me and Ashley, the one with Jordan Peele.
Nope.
That was kind of about aliens a little bit.
Yeah. And that was a really unique way, a unique spin on the UFO style, which I really appreciated.
I think it's interesting when people are taking a concept that's been done so much and they're like, you know what, let's make it as unique as possible so it actually is something different.
Yeah.
So very interesting way, yeah. We're not gonna spoil it, but like it definitely did what I was hoping it was gonna do. So happy.
Yeah.
But also like, dude, I love movies like Signs. Like Signs is one of my favorite movies when it comes to like a thriller. Is it considered thriller? I don't know.
Yeah, sci-fi thriller. I'd give it
just 'cause, dude.
Yeah. Signs growing up.
I remember the trailers, dude, when we were younger, when they came out. Dude, the trailers were like, that was probably one of the first trailers I really watched, and I was just like, what the fuck just happened? The alien just ran by? What? You know?
Yeah.
Like, it
that
actually
was
got
crazy.
me really interested in seeing the movie, and then when it actually was in the movie, I was like even more like, what the fuck's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Just because,
excellent.
That movie did exactly what it was gonna do. It didn't spoil the plot at all. That's the best.
Yeah.
No, aliens is something that you guys have more perspective on, so I kind of want to be more participating rather than leading at all.
Yeah,
so,
no, absolutely.
I don't know, either one, whoever wants to start. Is it Sean or Mikey?
You want to start it, Shaw?
Nah, you got it, Michael.
Me?
Yeah.
Bro. Oh, come on, man.
All right, fine. I'll kick us off.
Come on, man.
I'll kick us off with a cryptid.
So you start cook us off.
Yeah, no, I'll kick us off with a cryptid.
I totally forgot we were doing aliens, too.
Yeah, but cryptids and aliens could go together. So I'm going to talk about the Mothman, as made famous by the Mothman prophecies, a movie starring Richard Gere, or Gere, however you want to talk about it.
Richard Gere, yeah.
But here's the history. On November 15th, 1966, two young couples from Point Pleasant, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Millette, told police they saw a large gray creature whose eyes glowed red when the car's headlights picked it up. They described it as a large flying man with 10-foot wings, following their car while they were driving in an area outside of a town known as the TNT area, the site of a former World War II munitions plant. During the next few days, other people reported similar sightings. Two volunteer firemen who saw it said it was a large bird with red eyes. Mason County Sheriff George Johnson commented that he believed the sightings were due to an unusually large heron he termed a shitepoke. So a heron is just a large bird. Just for context, anyone listening didn't know what that was. Contractor Newell Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed a flashlight at a creature in a nearby field, its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors, which most nocturnal animals, that's kind of how their eyes are, just to let you know. Additionally, he blamed buzzing noises from his television set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd dog on the creature. Wildlife biologist Robert L. Smith at West Virginia University told reporters that descriptions and sightings all fit the sandhill crane, a large American crane almost as tall as a man with a 7-foot wingspan featuring circles of reddish coloring around the eyes. The bird may have wandered out of its migration route and therefore was unrecognized at first. So that's just the history of it. I was kind of expecting it to go into the folklore a little bit more. But if we were to consider the like what they do in the movie and some of the stories around the movie, it was essentially like this creature that was able to predict bad situations before they happened. In particular, Richard Gere's character in the movie receives phone calls from the Mothman talking about certain events that ended up actually happening in the town of West Virginia, wherever they were. So it was like kind of this prophetic creature that spoke of things happening before they happen. And I believe there's no sightings of the actual creature.
Besides what you described.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So
where was it again? Yeah, where was it again, by the way, before we move on? What area?
Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Keep going. Sorry.
So following the December 15th, 1967 collapse of the Silver Bridge and the death of 46 people, the incident gave rise to the legend and connected the Mothman sightings to the bridge collapse. And then there were sightings in Moscow of the Mothman that foreshadowed the 1999 Russian apartment bombings. Wow. And there was a 1975 book called The Mothman Prophecies.
Also a film in 2002.
Yeah,
I had this too.
Yeah, I saw that. The movie like scared me when I was a kid. Me and my other cousin Mikey, we were like kind of creeped out by it because it was like, I don't know. And it never even showed you the Mothman. I think there might be one scene where it's like a glimpse, but you don't see it. You just hear it on the phone and you see these things happening. Very interesting.
I also don't know how you can, like if I'm taking it from full belief, like I believe that this is how it's occurring. It also could be him making these things happen himself, and then he's just like telling you that they're gonna happen first, right? It's like the Superman dilemma where like Superman could make destruction and then save everyone or whatever. He could like say something's gonna happen and then he could be part of it. So part of me thinks that Mothman is a criminal.
Yeah, and attributing this like flying creature to like phone calls in a voice, something like that. It's like there's no clear distinction where it became less a creature and more like a species of intelligence.
I mean, that's super smart to be able to speak.
In a fiction sense, like, oh, cool, that's a cool concept. Mm-hmm. Like, in like the science fiction perspective, I mean, the concept of the Mothman prophecies as like a fiction account is like pretty cool. But I guess in the book, it's funny because the author combines these accounts with their theories about UFOs and various supernatural phenomena, ultimately connecting all of them to the Silver Bridge collapse. Wow.
He destroyed that bridge.
Yeah. Official investigations.
He made that bridge get destroyed. That was him.
I'm looking at the statue.
Yeah. The statue. I want to see it in real life.
Sketch, dude.
Official
real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
So, official investigations in 1971 of the bridge collapse determined it was caused by stress corrosion cracking in an eye-bar in a suspension chain. So they were able to attribute the actual collapse to something tangible, logical, and not connected to this phenomenon, which, of course, right? But the reason I bring up Mothman is because I feel like it connected like a lot of the points we've been talking about, right? So the Mothman is considered a cryptid, but it's also an urban legend, and some people attribute its existence to being that of an alien, right? So it's just it's really the concept that attributes to all three things that we're talking about.
So it's like Mothra's child.
Yeah, basically.
Or they say like a government experiment gone wrong.
Yeah, it could be
it's
that
Mothra's
too.
child who learned this English by living it on Earth.
Right.
This is my cryptid, dude.
Second generation moth.
What is?
Legitimately.
Mothman?
Legit. Yeah.
What?
Really?
What is?
I picked the same freaking one. Like, that's how I was like, dude, did you see the statue?
Oh, that's why you were talking about the statue. I thought you just looked it up while I was talking about it.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I was like, wait, did he just say Mothman? And I went over to my tabs. Dude, I was like, he friggin' said it. And
was that the only one you were going to talk about?
Yeah, because I had all those other urban legends.
This is Spider-Man. Oh, Pat, this is you. You got my ass.
Mothman.
I thought there isn't Mothman. It's two Spider-Men.
Yeah, two Spider-Man doofus work.
Mothman.
That's not Mothman, that's Spider-Man.
Oh, my bad.
You got the wrong man.
Wrong insect. My bad.
But I mean, okay, so give me something about aliens.
What about them? Like, what do you want? Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
Dude, anything.
Well, did you have anything you guys were going to talk about?
He
like
forgot we were going to talk
alien?
about aliens.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot we were talking about aliens. We started talking about cryptids and.
Well, you should talk about aliens because aliens are.
Hey, do you think?
On its own.
Do you think the government's onto something for like admitting like, hey, we found extraterrestrial aircraft shit, blah blah blah?
Can you say that again?
Do you think the government's up to something and they just said that to like distract us?
Oh, you're saying that now they're admitting to it.
Yeah, because they,
okay.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because
I don't know. Sean?
So there's like official government documents, I guess, out there that talk about the existence of UFOs.
Yeah. Do you think that's like really just to like distract us?
No, I think those documents are really just. I personally don't think they're connected to aliens as much as they're like genuinely just stuff that the government got footage of, and they're like, well, we don't know what the fuck this is. But I feel like visiting aliens is a concept,
right?
Yeah. But that's a concept I don't really believe happened yet. At least, I don't think that a species has developed a system to make it to us. And if they did, they would be a little bit better off to where they don't crash in our desert and then we take them into Area 51.
Yeah, but didn't they say something about what is it? Hang on. What's it called?
What's what called?
Element like 115 or some shit.
The element?
Yeah, it's like something that divides like gravity and like this and they found it with apparently they found it with those extraterrestrial like UFO things, and they're trying to remake the element, and like I'm trying to look it up real quick. Element 115.
Element 115. That's kind of cool sounding. I like that descriptor. Shit, man. Sean, you know anything about that?
It's a highly super heavy and artificially produced radioactive element that has the atomic numbers of 115 and a symbol of UUP. It was discovered by bombarding the elements of the element. Oh shit! Now I gotta get all these freaking words.
Moscovium?
Huh? No, americium 243 with the ions of calcium 48 among the product produced as a result of the bombardment with the 4 atoms of
No, I'm just like I'm trying to understand. You're saying that these elements were found and now they're thinking that these elements can only exist from an alien.
They're saying they're trying to recreate it by like freaking hitting these atoms together.
Okay, is that abnormal? I mean, I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like that's Sean, that's not abnormal. Do you think it's abnormal for them to be trying to recreate an element they've discovered? Like, I feel like isn't that
the same reason with
huge part of the elemental table?
They ran the particle. What was it? Something
Accelerator?
like recently, right? Then they combined 2 atoms together or whatever to do.
I mean, that's how Sandman was made.
Yeah.
An accelerator. He got ripped apart, turned into a Sandman.
Hold on.
But they're like trying to link it up. I'm trying to see if it's legit, but but all three of our heads are better than just one, so I brought that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't really understand.
Yeah. So I was I was like, holy shit, me trying to read this stuff. You guys are gonna get confused with me trying to figure out what these fucking
Yeah, I
words
mean,
say.
I'm already confused. Yeah. But I do want to continue unless Sean is still trying to stay on that topic. Otherwise, I'd like to move on.
Mikey, just keep talking about the thing. I'm doing some research right now.
115?
Yeah, or just what was your point about talking about it?
Like what made you think that?
I just brought that up because Sean said he doesn't think there could be any other living thing that would have that technology to get to us. But I'm saying that element could be that technology that made it to where they can come and visit
When
us.
we're talking about technology, by the way, are we talking about fuel, or are we talking about?
I don't know.
The
That's why I
creation of a
brought it up.
vehicle that can travel.
Yeah, and this thing, there's also been, what is it? Like fighter pilots and stuff that have witnessed something on radar, on thermal, and having their jammers broken, and it literally dropped and then took off, like disappeared within seconds.
Okay.
And then it just went off radar and thermal was gone. So like there's like legit people that are like saying that they've seen this shit.
Yeah.
And it was like multiple fighter pilots and like multiple people that have said it. So, and then that's when I heard about the element 115. So that's why I brought it up.
To be 100% honest, though, when I think about people have reoccurring descriptors for like events or things that are happening, I also think that like most of the logic that we were trying to come up with in the beginning is that there's explanations behind it that doesn't mean that it's aliens. So it's like this technology that they're seeing, they could be seeing the same thing, but it could just be something that's not in their understanding of like technologies or things that are happening with the government or other governments or whatever. So they're seeing someone else's advancement, but they're Earth advancements, but they're just not known. I don't know. I mean, I feel like that makes more sense than an alien. Yeah, like a different government, or our government has, because I mean, our government does it all the time, right? They create different projects where they're like, this is classified for you, this is classified for you. So I feel like a mistake can get made and something could be put up. I mean, I can make a joke about it right now too and be like, you know, not everyone knew that they were making a flight suit for Green Goblin, right?
So couldn't that be that the government's trying to cover it up, saying it's other extraterrestrial stuff rather than it being
someone made a mistake?
Like, oh
yeah,
man.
I mean that's where I think I could say that, where it's like they're not covering up something else. If anything, they're just covering up like, the government's not doing things behind your back, guys. There must be something else going on, and think about it, you know. And until they're actually ready to show like that they have moved on to certain things.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's what it is. Maybe the government's honest. I don't know. To be 100% honest, I can imagine why. Because if we're thinking about the theory of the chaos that would come with something like alien discovery, it makes way more sense for them to hide it than to be super direct, because the panic level of people would increase by such a high amount that it would probably cause like more violent reactions, right? People being more afraid, people becoming more like, just to be a small amount, people find out about aliens, it probably would turn up the rate of people buying guns, right?
Yeah.
As soon as they find out aliens are real, they'll be like, fuck, if I'm afraid of my government trying to kill me, I should also be afraid of an alien trying to kill me, so I need a gun. So it's like, I'm sure that also makes people think like, well, if aliens are real, let's maybe not tell the United States, you know, the population, because they're going to overreact probably, because that's just human nature. And then they're going to do something crazy, like, you know, create bomb shelters so they can hide from the aliens in a bomb shelter or something. I don't know. That's honestly where my mind goes, though. My mind just goes to the level of like whether or not there is something creating a panic doesn't help. So it's easier to just be like, oh, we don't know, than we know for sure, and here's the proof.
Right. So earlier with what you were saying, Mikey, about like the element smashing atoms together, I was trying to find like a solid explanation because I don't want to like say anything that isn't accurate. But so when we have things called like atom smashers, and we have things called particle accelerators. So basically what both of them do is they're these controlled scenarios where they provide like a lot of energy. They have these particles or whatever going really fast, and then they collide them into something else, and then they're studying the emitting of radiation and the spread and like basically the scattering of what happens when they collide those things together, right? And it's the same thing with the atom smasher. And with that data, it helps us understand just how things on like a particle level work. So I really don't think that something like that would come into play to try to, I guess, recreate something that we saw with like an alien or like something we got from a UFO. Because theoretically, when we're studying particles, everybody's under the assumption that it's like a code that the universe operates by. So realistically, anything that we're seeing within our particles here, the aliens they're going to have the same particles going on their ship and everything like that. Everything's going to have like the atom, the nucleus, the electrons, all that shit all around it. We're not going to learn anything new from an alien. If we had an alien, the things that we would want to learn is from more of like a biological level. So the way that their bodies and their systems work and what they have to consume and breathe on to survive and live. That I think would be that would be like the thing that they would focus on like a particle, like from the particle accelerator perspective. The studies and stuff with that don't exactly coincide to what we would find. And new elements, I guess, are somewhat always come across. They call them synthetic elements. So that's what they referred to it when Russia and the US apparently were trying to make Moscovium or whatever, the thing that you were talking about, element 115, which I didn't look into that one too much. I just wanted to be sure that I was under the right impression as to what the particle accelerators and the atom smashers do when we do utilize them. Because like I said, what we're trying to understand with that, we wouldn't be able to get that from a crashed alien ship here. Because one of the things that we're searching for in these areas, like the Large Hadron Collider or even at Fermi Lab, is trying to understand something like dark matter, because that's something that could explain the absence of the data we have when we're looking at the collective universe. There's a lot of these dark areas that we can't say are filled with matter, so we just say that it could be dark matter. But that's one of the things that they actually look for. And I met somebody at a party. It was at Dad's, Patrick, and he sent me a mathematical paper he wrote about trying to find dark matter through the decay of a Higgs boson particle. The mathematical side of it, I have no fucking idea, right? But the idea was that they took the Higgs boson, which was a recently discovered particle, and by its decay, they were seeing if it was emitting something that they could connect to being dark matter. But basically what I'm saying is like that's the kind of thing that they're looking for. And if we were to get an alien coming here that provided that kind of inquiry for us, that would be especially hard to believe, because it's like, okay, we could look at the aliens' engine of their ship and maybe that could make us be like, ooh, how are they powering this thing? But nothing in that ship probably could do it. Like, the only way that I think an alien could effectively come here in a reasonable amount of time is through some sort of wormhole, and not through just traveling really fast. Because like any piece of matter, you take it, you put it faster than the speed of light, you're gonna obliterate that thing. Like if we were in a ship and it went that fast, it went faster than the speed of light, like we're dead, we're donezo. The force and the speed of that would obliterate us. So theoretically, any sort of interstellar travel an alien might be doing we would be more concerned with the path that they get, the path that they take to get to where we are. But we can't find that from a crash ship. You know what I'm saying? So basically, with this whole long-winded explanation, what I'm saying is that the study of particle physics wouldn't come into play to the discovery of a crashed alien on our planet. Thank you.
Huh. That's actually really interesting to think about. Because, like, I literally, when we talk about aliens in like a general sense, I was always thinking about it like biologically. Like, what biologically would we care about and think about when we actually meet an alien? Because, I don't know, I think at a certain point, the idea that they're coming here wouldn't be my first design, just because I'd assume that they were able to get a technology that were able to travel here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I also don't know how close we are to like traveling somewhere else.
Right.
You know, it seems like we're close or whatever, but like that wouldn't be my first thought. My first thought would be like, how different is their biology? Do they eat more? Do they, you know, are they? I mean, hell, even like the weirdest thing is like, do they react to the atmosphere the way we would? Like,
right.
You know, would they be able to live on our planet, or would it, you know, would be something about, you know, that's why I always find really funny about like the movie Signs, is because the logic in Signs is so awkward, and like when you dissect it, it's not, there's no, it makes zero sense, because like someone was talking about how in Signs the aliens wouldn't be able to even be on Earth at all because of the moisture in the air, you know, so like they would die instantaneously when they touched the atmosphere or like got out of the ship. So they wouldn't even had the chance to run around the fields and be anywhere involved outside of their ship, because the moisture in the air would have killed them, because that's what kills them, right?
Yeah,
that's
the water.
Yeah, the water, the particles. So like that alone makes me think about how aliens are, and how like maybe there is a biological difference between us and an alien that comes to visit, because they're not coming out of their ship to interact with us. Maybe they're still trying to sort that out. That would be my guess.
And it's crazy because like we breathe in oxygen, there could be species that breathe in nitrogen instead. There's people say that there's bacteria that live in the atmosphere of Venus that essentially, you know, feed on whatever that atmosphere is made up of. And there's this cool thing, this concept called Extremophile, and it's an organism that is able to live or thrive in extreme environments, aka things like the vacuum of space, the surface of volcanoes, places where life should not exist. There are these specific kinds of creatures called extremophiles, which are typically microorganisms, but they're able to exist there. Like you take the water bear, aka the tardigrade, it's able to survive in the vacuum of space. So like, who's to say that on a larger scale, aliens the size of us, they could be resilient in that sense? Or the second that they're introduced to this planet, they get infected by some pathogen and they just fucking die right away. Because that's something else that could happen too.
Without a doubt that could happen.
All the bacteria and stuff in the air, all the germs, pathogens, all that shit, you know, their bodies haven't spent millions of years acclimating to, so they would die.
Oh, for
potentially.
Sure. Dude, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that, buddy.
Yeah.
Damn.
And if we were to go to another planet, we would have to have an exosuit capable of providing us with those livable conditions, because the second we step foot on a planet, you know, any little thing in the air, any little bug that could bite us, it could turn our insides outside, and we would just die a horrible death because our bodies aren't acclimated to that environment, that ecosystem.
Would it be quick?
Nope.
No, very slow.
It would be slow. Ah, see, a horrible death is one thing, but a slow, horrible death, now that's where it's bad.
I already know I'm immune.
Like he's gonna be the first one on Mars without a spacesuit. He's gonna be like, I'm cool. You can't breathe out
You
here.
and Elon, bro.
Yeah, I can
It's
breathe.
like I'm on Mars. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Larry. Why does everybody have a bowl on their head?
You're not dead yet, too.
Larry,
It's like,
Space Edition.
a bowl. The fuck?
Mikey's gonna be working on the foundations for the homes on Mars.
And it's like, stop being a doofenshmirtz, just take it off. And now I'm like accidentally killing people because like, dude, look at, I don't need a bowl on my head.
Yeah, you being anti-bowler.
Anti-bowlers, anti-vaxxer.
I don't believe in bowls.
Oh God.
Bowls don't even work.
Oh no.
Look at me,
Fucking
I'm fine.
bowls.
Or imagine that, like, guys, stop being scared. Look at me, I'm fine. 20 minutes later, just dead as fuck.
You're just dead as fuck. You're just like, you're just discriminating against those anti-bowlers.
Yeah.
We did our research.
Yeah.
But no, at the core of this conversation, I think that there's so much to be known about like the differences. The differences between planets and stuff that I feel like that's where a lot of people want to start. Was like, if aliens do exist, how far away are these aliens? Because the planets we are even considering being a part of, like going to if we could, are, you know, we know the life doesn't support them, or our life doesn't support them. So aliens coming would have to be beyond that. So it's like, how far away is that? So.
And like,
I mean, honestly, that's honestly what it could be. There could be not aliens. There could be other planets far, far, far away, like far beyond our understanding, and that's why they can't come to us. Is the same reason we can't go to them. So it's like.
And the James Webb Telescope is going to hopefully take pictures of what we call exoplanets, which are planets that we've discovered, you know, light years away that could have the conditions to support life. And that's one of the biggest things. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that the James Webb Telescope is hopefully going to show us.
That's actually very interesting. If you ever get information deeper on that, Sean, I'd like to know more about it, even off podcast.
Yeah.
Not from you, Mikey.
Oh, you got a telescope?
You're an anti-bowler. I don't want to hear your shit.
No, well, I do. I think it's at my parents' house, but they might have thrown it out at this point.
Why? You should get it back.
It's so big and bulky.
Yeah, but you can see these nuts.
Oh, that was good. Hey, you about to clip that shit, boy. You about to clip that shit, boy. That was a good one. That was a good one. But anyway, so and I did an episode. Mine and Pat's close friend has a podcast called In Theory.
In Theory.
Listeners, you should check it out. Wonderful podcast. I love it. It's on Spotify. But we talked about the Fermi Paradox, which is essentially it suggests that intelligent extraterrestrial beings are extremely rare, and it's just like this idea that like they just might not even be there at all anymore. Like any sort of species that we could have come into contact with, they could have died millions of years ago, or they won't come into the same intelligence as us for like another million years. And when you think about how far it takes for light to travel when it comes to light years, radio waves and all that, by the time we might like hear a message by a creature that's coexisting with us simultaneously, just another part of the universe, like we could be long gone by the time that an actual radio message comes through, or we could be resorted back to the Stone Age where we don't even have technology to interpret it or hear it. But I will say that when it comes to radio frequency, those kinds of waves tend to stick around. That's why they say like they're able to like hear like the static from like a TV is essentially us being able to hear like the Big Bang somehow. I don't want to dig too deep into that topic, but it's just, it gives me the impression that when it comes to radio waves, you could pick them out at different points in time. They don't just fizzle away. You know what I mean? But like light, you turn off a light switch, right? The light goes away eventually. So what I'm saying is that by the time we get any sort of sign of intelligent life not on Earth, We might not even be able to hear it, see it, listen to it.
That creates a lot of anxiety in my mind, to be honest.
Yeah. Me
Like
too.
literally, you could be a second away from discovering something or something going on, and then
Yep.
it just all gets pulled out.
That's what's up, dude.
That's what's yeah. From one man's anxiety is another man's excitement. Fuck.
That's what's up. Mama
Like,
ain't
I
raised
love
no
it.
bitch.
I love it. It's like chaos.
Mama ain't raised
theory.
no bitch. I kick that meteor's ass, bro.
I hope you do it.
I'm like, oh,
Fight that
baby,
motherfucker.
We're not even
baby,
talking about
hold my
meteors.
beer. That's what I do.
Hold his beer.
Aliens, anything that comes out, baby, hold my beer.
What is the most interesting thing about aliens biology that you guys think about? Do you think about the biology of them, like that that they'd be like similar to us to a certain point, yet they're not too not disfigured, but they're not too physically different from us? So it's like you see an alien and you're like, oh wow, you're an alien from a different planet. You look like a human, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Or is it the idea of them not at all looking like us at all, and they look like fucking those green little men, green little Martians and shit like that? Is that more interesting? Which ones are more interesting to you guys? The idea that they're physiologically similar to us, or the idea that they're completely not physiologically different? And like, that's crazy to think about, that like everything about them physically is just completely different from us.
So I would say that like the fact of them not being similar to us is more fascinating, and a big piece of that is because of the sci-fi that I read. I just recently read a book called Calculating God by Robert J. Sawyer, and the main alien species, there's a few different species, but the main one is described to almost look like kind of like its upper torso area is more crab-like and stuff like that, and the way that it's described is more, you know, alien looking, right? More like of a different creature, but it still has intelligence. And there's a scene in the book where this alien and the main character are looking through like famous aliens from pop culture and movies and shit like that, and the alien is pointing out like humans are so small-minded with what is actually out there that they thought it was this, and it's like a humanoid person in like a suit, you know, in like a Godzilla movie or some shit. And I thought it was interesting because it's like, yeah, most sci-fi movies, especially from longer ago, that's kind of how we thought of things because we had the limited perspective of our minds. But what this book brought up, and which is why I find it more fascinating, is that like you could still get the same amount of intelligence, but the creature could be all weird looking. Like the movie Arrival.
Sure.
Have you seen Arrival with Amy Adams?
I have.
Yeah, so that one's another one where it's like these intelligent creatures, but they look like these like squid things, remember? And they shoot the ink to communicate. Fascinating. So to answer your question, yeah, the less human-like, the better. The more interesting to me.
Especially when it comes to like Marvel. Like,
absolutely.
I fucking love it in Marvel when they show all the different like aliens and shit like that. I just fucking love it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I feel so shitty if I just like some dude look like, let's just say like Jeff or something, like just a normal dude, and he's like, yeah, I'm from Jupiter. Oh, come on, man, are you serious?
Yeah, like I don't want to I don't want to look in the mirror and be like, we could have been the same.
Your guys' lives are probably fucked just like all of ours. There's nothing different.
Yeah,
this sucks. Rather than
I think the crazy thing though is by being very different, their biology would be different. So examples like the squid-like things from Arrival,
cool.
from Arrival, like, but their intelligence level is more than a squid would be on Earth. So like we could see like a bear, aliens that are like bears.
Oh yeah,
aliens that are bears that speak. Well, even then, it's like
holy fuck,
how much
that's
more
a bear.
complicated do you go?
What did you say to me?
Would you fucking call me?
That bear just fucking talked to me.
I'll kill you with my bare hands.
I'm a pacifist. I'm a vegetarian. I'm not gonna do nothing.
But I feel like, is it closed-minded of me to think that an alien would want to learn English, or even have English as their language?
Honestly, they'd probably want, what is it, Mandarin? Is Mandarin the most, like, statistically,
what population you mean? Like based off of how many
based out of just people. That's the most spoken language.
It's in Asia, Asia.
But
no, I think that's the funniest thing in my mind when it comes to this like alien stuff is that we literally think of it a lot as if like an alien showed up, and if it did show up, we'd be able to even talk to it. Majority of the time is like my assumption is we probably wouldn't be.
It would be like
weird.
And we just start fucking firing at him like.
I mean, honestly, right? Isn't that what you do?
Yeah.
When you see an alien, you shoot
Nope.
it.
No.
Mikey would shoot it. Yeah,
No, I would not. If I saw him, I'd be like, "Hey, what's up? My name's Larry, short for laryngitis."
You're such a fucking freak.
My name's Larry, short for laryngitis.
You wouldn't shoot it. You would try to sleep
Mikey's
with it.
TikToks are the only thing that are getting to the alien ships. They're receiving those messages.
And that's exactly why they're not coming. They're like, fucking, everyone's an idiot on Earth.
They land.
They're stupid.
The Secret Service, the president comes up.
Annoying.
The aliens are like, bring us to laryngitis. And they're like, what the fuck? He goes by Larry. It is short for laryngitis. They're like, what the fuck is this?
If I heard that, dude, I'd piss myself.
They showed like the video of your TikToks, and they're like, who the fuck is this kid?
And it just keeps looping. They're not changing it.
Yeah. But that's.
I got Secret Service coming to my job. Hey, we need you. What the fuck did I do?
They'll only talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna go talk to somebody.
But no, I guess. I don't know. I just think that's really interesting that we always go to that point. I think that also is hilarious when it comes to a lot of other things in like modern day media and stuff. Like everything, even when we're trying to be like diversified in a sense, and I don't want to get too far away from it, but like even we're trying to be diversified as fuck, we still make the characters speak English. You know, we'll have a story that has nothing to do with like people that speak English, and they'll like. You know, like example, Prey, right? In Prey, they speak they speak their native language as well, but then they speak English randomly, and I'm just like, why?
Do you know that there's a whole version of that movie in Comanche?
Yeah, there's a whole version in just Comanche. Yeah. But I'm saying that there isn't too, though. So I'm like, in my head, like, but obviously they do it for a reason because there's a lot of people that are like.
But I feel like they did it the way that like it should also be done. Like we could realistically did it the best way. Yeah, I think that was like best case scenario. That kind of like that's the pinnacle of like diversity and stuff. Like I feel like
that actually diving into what it
was,
was, regardless of who's watching it. Yeah, of course.
They're like, okay, so we're gonna have this English version, and then it's like, okay, we've got a whole ass Comanche version to stay true to the native roots.
I think that's the smartest way to do it, to be honest. But that's why I think with like aliens, it's funny because it's like we'd be treating these, thinking these aliens like they're gonna show up and they're gonna be speaking English, when in reality they speak Comanche, so it's like you can't talk to them. Sorry, that's reality.
You wouldn't know,
like you can't just get a fucking Google translator and just hear everything, you know. But no, I think that when it comes to this stuff, it always comes down to like how different they are from us and how interesting that is because well, what was it you were telling me a long time ago about how like it almost reminds me of like chaos theory, how like a little small, or like not even chaos theory, but like the idea of like the butterfly effect where one small thing changes everything. So it's like throughout the universe there's an infinite amount of things, right? So just we happen to be on this earth during this time frame, how unique that is. So like everywhere else has their own level uniqueness like that. So I don't know, it's just interesting.
Like we're just the conditions are perfect and applicable for life, and like you know, that's why I'm sure aliens aren't worried about going anywhere else, because if their conditions are the same, I mean, like, we're still trying to just go to Mars or whatever, but like, how far in advance do you think we would actually want to go to another planet unless it was to get away from this planet or from our sun, from supernova?
Exactly. Like the idea wouldn't be just leave for leaving. It would be leaving for like safety.
A new home. And there's this really interesting movie based on a book called The Wandering Earth, and essentially they created like 11 super engines on Earth, like humongous, and they converted the Earth into a spaceship, and they have all these underground cities because the conditions on top of Earth are going to be, they're not going to be built for life because they'll be floating through space, and they take the Earth, they turn on these engines and the Earth flies off to go find a different home to go to because the sun is dying, so they're trying to escape. But there was a whole movie about that, and I think the logistics of that working very slim. And even if they got those engines to move the Earth out of the orbit of the sun, being able to live in these underground cities, I feel like is very unrealistic too. But on top of that, it's like the gravity of escaping the sun is going to be crazy enough. But the whole plot point of the movie, the conflict, is when they're trying to pass Jupiter. Jupiter starts like bringing it into its gravitational pull. So it's like I feel like it's hard to understand the gravity of the situation.
Oh.
Because, you know, gravity is a very fickle thing in space. And you take the gravity of the sun, even the gravity of the moon. Dude, if the moon blew up or something happened to the moon, it would devastate life on Earth. There's a novel about that called Seven Eves by Neil Stephenson. And something destroys the moon, and when it obliterates, like a bunch of these little things start hailing down on the planet, and it makes the surface unlivable for like hundreds of years. Crazy shit, right? And a lot of these sci-fi stories are built around scientifical possibilities. If scientifical is a word, I don't think it is. Scientific possibilities.
Scientific sounds better anyways, so.
Which, if you can hear it in my voice, that's why I love reading those kinds of books, because it's fascinating. The what ifs. It's like the what ifs of just normal life.
Yeah, I mean, what if Sharon Carter not Sharon Carter. Damn it, Peggy Carter took the serum instead of Captain America.
She would get cut in half by Wanda, Scarlet Witch. That's
it's just
the end of that story. But Mikey.
But no, I mean, do you guys want to move on to another
alien question?
Alien question, not alien question, but like an alien thing, or do you guys have a what was the other thing called? I'm sorry.
Cryptids.
Cryptids, yeah. Did you guys have another cryptid we want to talk about? Just because I feel like we stretched this out pretty far too, and I'm happy to continue, but I just wanted to see if we had more of a
I want to see Mikey
to
contribute to some stuff. He's been quiet for a bit, so I just wanted to open the floor to his ass.
Y'all have been talking.
I know, we talk a lot.
Seriously. Yeah, so Michael, what you got for us, brother?
I was actually learning because.
No, I mean, Sean's talking a lot. Yeah, Sean's talking about a lot of cool shit.
Dude, like, I'm probably gonna do my own solo episodes about some of this shit. Honestly,
honest, you could.
Like, it's just I wouldn't do a video for it. It would just be strictly audio versions.
But ask Nicole about doing solo episodes, man. I'm sure it's not as fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, she's gonna have a co-host now. Oh, I'm not gonna talk a lot about it. I don't want to spoiler alert any listeners of In Theory. But yeah. It should be cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
But yeah, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, go ahead, Doofenshmirtz. What you got for us?
I don't got shit.
Nothing. Okay.
Legit.
How about you, Sean? Do you have another topic to talk about, cryptids?
I was actually interested in the science and stuff that you were talking about and shit.
Yeah, no, we definitely could elaborate on it though in further episodes.
Thank you for those that take the chance to just listen to our podcast, even though we're still learning how to even do one. I'm having fun with friends, and I hope you guys are having fun as well. Please contact us at our but if you want to go, Larry, tag your socials, please.
What's up, Slimac Entertainment on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, pretty much any social media.
You can find NeuroMinded on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and some other avenues of podcasts. All you got to look up is NeuroMinded Podcast or NeuroMinded Presents. Thank you for tuning in to NeuroMinded and joining us with our journey upon discussing aliens and cryptids.